Hello and welcome. Today, I want to answer a question that I've been hearing here and there, especially in Twitch chats, since the start of Season 5. That is, a lot of people are saying I get tons of Infernal Compasses, more than I can ever use, and inevitably, whenever someone does, you immediately hear the reply, but I get none, they're so rare. And so I investigated a bit. Now, if you're someone who isn't getting any compass drops, I have good news. It's an easy fix. And if you are that person, I have bad news. Blizzard tied getting compasses as a drop to completing a specific priority quest called The Eyes of the Enemy Will You Follow Lochran's Story. But if you are playing on the seasonal server, you are still going to be getting compasses through the progression of collecting all the Mother's gifts and opening your seasonal triune caches. So it might have looked like, oh hey, I did all the mechanic correctly, I followed the season quest line, I got all the drops. No. The ability to drop and craft the compasses instead comes from the Eyes of the Enemy, which is a priority quest. It takes you to the Black Tomb, a mini dungeon where you have to fight through lots and lots of demons and defend Lochran as he explores. After that, you travel to the edge of the abyss to gaze upon that which should not be seen, which of course means fighting a few more demons and maybe even getting some epic loot in return. Complete this quest chain to obtain your first compass. Use this compass, complete the Infernal Horde, and congratulations, now you have the ability to get them as a drop and craft them. Now, with all that said, I'm making this video early on in the season. It's entirely possible that Blizzard, in a hotfix, allows you to just get them as drops and get the crafting recipe by completing the seasonal quest lines, where you'll only have to do the priority quest if you're on the Eternal server. Something else that is interesting to note, when I completed the quest on my seasonal character, it did unlock the ability to drop and craft compasses even for my Eternal characters, so this could be a once-only account-wide unlock, or it could be that in future seasons there's going to be a very short quest you have to do to unlock this. Just like how you have to re-unlock the pit every season after doing your first, I believe it is Nightmare Dungeon 46. But even though this is really simple, it's something that I wanted to talk about because it's surprisingly easy to miss. I missed it for a little bit. After I started hearing from people, hey, I get lots of compasses, other people, hey, I don't. I looked into it, I pretty quickly found it, so I don't think I've missed out on too many compass drops. But there's a lot of people who have probably been playing, putting in a lot of time, wondering why they're not getting compasses, so I wanted to make this video to help out. And again, if this gets patched out, you know 100% for sure that you haven't done the priority quest, but you're getting compass drops, then do please let me know down in the comments below. Something else that I noticed about these compass drops is, as you do higher tier content, you get higher rank compasses. So if I'm clearing the pit, I'm much more likely to get a compass rank 6 than if I'm just doing something out in the world. And I do get a lot of drops from Helltide, Nightmare Dungeons, I've gotten a few from the pit. I'm sure there's several other sources that I just haven't found, like it wouldn't surprise me if bosses could drop them. I just haven't done very many ladder bosses since completing the quest. Compasses scale from rank 1 all the way up to rank 8, with rewards starting to get good around rank 3, and of course rank 8 providing the best. But rank 8 means that you have to fight level 200 enemies, which is not exactly easy, especially if you're still gearing up, though if you're in a full 4-man party, does sound like a good time, and I should probably do some group compasses soon. Also, as another little PSA, don't accidentally disenchant your entire compass collection, because they do count as sigils. So if you go, oh, I have a whole bunch of junk Nightmare Dungeon sigils, let me just dust them all real quick. Unless you have specifically marked your compasses to not be auto-disenchanted, they will go away, so put them in your stash, mark them so they're not auto-disenchanted, or just don't have them in your inventory. Maybe even just manually dust Nightmare sigils that you want to get rid of. Speaking of, as part of completing the priority quest, you unlock the ability to craft rank 1 through rank 8. This is especially nice because rank 8 compasses require a lot of abyssal scrolls if you're starting from just a base 3 or even a 5 that you happen to get as a drop. But if you have the ability to slam rank 8s back to back to back, you might run out of abyssal scrolls pretty quickly. So instead you can do some Helltide for Forgotten Souls and Nightmare Dungeons for sigil powder, then craft them up. A tier 1 compass costs 125 sigil powder, 3 Forgotten Souls. A tier 2 compass costs 190 sigil powder, 5 Forgotten Souls. A tier 3 costs 275 sigil powder, 7 souls. A tier 4 costs 350 sigil powder, 9 Forgotten Souls. A tier 5 costs 375 sigil powder, 11 Forgotten Souls. A tier 6 costs 400 powder, 13 souls. A tier 7, 425 powder, 15 souls. And a tier 8, 850 powder and 17 souls. Basically, the powder cost doesn't actually scale that much between like tier 3 to tier 8, but the soul cost does increase significantly, with around 2.5 times the Forgotten Souls required for a tier 8 compass as opposed to a tier 3. But again, provided you're able to do them efficiently, kill lots and lots of waves of monsters, collect all the resources as you do, then you are able to get vastly more rewards from a tier 8 as opposed to a tier 3. With that said, it's still early on in the season, and I feel like I haven't fully dove into everything that I need to know to confidently speak on how to min-max your rewards from the compasses. So look forward to that in a future video. For now, be sure to get subscribed, maybe leave a like while you're down there. That way, YouTube's much more likely to show you that future video when I do make it. What I've learned so far is picking different modifiers in the Infernal Horde can have a huge impact both on your score and the monsters you encounter in subsequent waves. Sometimes quite surprisingly. For example, it says, hey, there's going to be a powerful enemy, and then all of a sudden a burning version of a butcher shows up and tries to ruin your day. Overall, I don't think this is the world's most complicated roguelike mode. I'm sure it's going to be solved very quickly. In fact, I don't think it's really even a proper roguelike mode. It's more of just kill some waves of monsters, get some loot. But hey, when it comes to Diablo games, kill some waves of monsters, get some loot is a pretty darn easy sell for me. Especially when I'm playing a Fireball Sorc that excels at decimating everything on screen. And so those have been my experiences both not getting and then later getting Infernal Compasses in Diablo 4 Season 5, Season of the Infernal. Now personally, I recommend doing this quest as soon as you're able to, because as it turns out, the compasses are pretty darn good EXP. You can run through, kill a whole bunch of demons, lots of demons means lots of EXP, and I suspect I would have leveled up much faster if I did more leveling in the Infernal Hordes instead of doing it through Nightmare Dungeons because I wanted to level up my glyphs. But hey, I guess I needed to level up those glyphs anyway, so it's not that bad of a deal. But that's all I've got on compasses and hordes, at least for today. If you have any findings on some of the best modifiers, some of the ways to get the most loot possible, do be sure to let me know down in the comments below. On the other hand, if you're looking for something else to watch, maybe you're curious about how I'm making fireballs bounce across the screen and explode everything, then check out my build. A link to that will be up in the card and down below. Also, if you need more help with Infernal Hordes or understanding compasses, a link to Maxwell's guide down in the description. That has a lot of really good info that you can use to puzzle out where you might be getting stuck or look into some of those juicy rewards. Of course, before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank my patrons and channel members for the continued support. For as low as $1 a month, you can help make videos just like this one possible. Link to support is also down below. And of course, a big thanks to everyone who watched to the end of the video. I really wanted to make this one since I've seen a lot of people saying they're just not getting the Infernal Compasses. And let's be honest, Blizzard has never been the best at breadcrumbing their content, so it's quite easy to miss the quest. I missed it for a little bit, then I pretty quickly found it when I reached out to ask someone, but not everyone has that person on their friends list, which they can just ask, hey, how did you end up doing this? So I wanted to share the knowledge, that way you can learn from my mistakes. And of course, I am going to be doing a whole bunch of Infernal Hordes, both because I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I want to know the optimal modifiers to take. And again, I'll be sharing those findings in a future video, so do be sure to tune back in for that, and I'll hopefully see you soon.